Hey everyone, welcome back to Coffee with Craner. I have a special guest with me, Rosemary Woods. She is president of F&B Hospitality Group, business owner, Cooking with Rosemary, a lot of exciting projects that she works on. And today we're at Grand Cantina. This is on we're on Wyandotte Street in Walkerville. Beautiful spot. I imagine many people that are watching have been to this location. But they also own Funky Chow, Tallulah Cafe, and so many other great establishments here in Windsor, and we're going to be talking about the food and beverage industry. So thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
So Rosemary, before we get into everything, I have to ask a question about coffee. I think I already know the answer. Where's your favorite spot?
I mean, I'm going to have to say Tallulah Cafe. Yeah, it's pretty convenient. It's right down the street from my house, but also I can just go in there and make whatever coffee I want. So,
is there a type of coffee that you lean towards?
I really like just Americano. We get our coffee beans from Gennaro's, so it's local, and
yes.
Yeah, it's really fun. We also work with Red Lantern Coffee,
Yep.
So we have our coffee beans from there too. So, yeah.
So you have many establishments. Mm-hmm. What was the first one? How did it start to?
So the first one that I was really a part of, like the beginning of, was Grand Cantina, our original location on Culinary Road.
Yes.
I had been in the architecture field. I studied as an architect. I was an architect for almost 15 years. So I decided to do a big career change. And then in that, I met John Alvarez, and he was just beginning to start to open up Grand Cantina. So myself and my husband helped with the design and the build out of that space, and that's kind of
where it all started.
Yeah, where it all started. Yeah.
So it's like a Mexican cuisine, you'd say, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And what was the inspiration behind that? Did you see was that type of food missing in the Drouillard area? How did because it's a very creative, there's a great creative name behind it. Beautiful spot. I mean, the design, which I'm not surprised, is excellent here. Where did you really get the inspiration?
So the actual name Grand Cantina, it came from the address of the Drouillard Road location was 1000, so that's kind of where it came from, the Grand Cantina.
Yep.
But the food itself, just I think by traveling and you get to see things and see how they work in other locations, and yeah, there wasn't at the time. I don't think there was a lot of taco places. That's kind of become more popular now here in the Windsor area, but at the time it really wasn't, and we just kind of put our spin on it. It's been a lot of fun.
It's great food. I haven't been to this new location yet. I've been back when we were on Drouillard. Do you have a passion for cooking? Cooking with Rosemary?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of funny because all my family, when I grew up, I absolutely hated cooking. So for them to see this big transition in myself, it's really strange because I hated cooking.
I do right now. So.
But I don't know, just something happened, and my husband and I would collect a lot of cookbooks, more so like as art, and I kind of got in the habit of like making, I should use these books. So I would make a recipe once a week and kind of became obsessive about it and learned a bunch of stuff in the process, because it's basically a textbook, right?
Yes.
So got into that and then decided I wanted to change careers and got into the hospitality industry.
And then Funky Chow started. And
Yeah. So Funky Chow was born out of the pandemic. The space was carrots and dates.
Mm-hmm.
During the pandemic, they decided to kind of relook at their own business and kind of go on a smaller scale. They had a few locations and they were kind of downsizing a bit. And so the space became available and decided to jump at it and create Funky Chow Kitchen.
And a lot of your establishments are in walking distance, so you could do a whole tour.
Okay, yes.
F&B Hospitality Group ownership. And why Walkerville? What's the passion for Walkerville?
I think it just kind of ended up this way. I myself live in Walkerville, so it's super convenient for me. But it's also convenient, I think, having all of our locations so close together, because it's not unusual for one restaurant to need cucumbers or takeout containers and be able to go to the other restaurants. Plus, it creates a bigger family for our staff. Mm-hmm. Each restaurant has its own kind of characters that work for us there. Like, people at Tallulah don't necessarily want to hang out with the people from here, but it gives them the opportunity to kind of, have an extended family and get to know each other and go eat at the other restaurants. And kind of fun. We offer a staff discount for all. If you work at Tulip Cafe, you get a staff discount at all the restaurants. So we really encourage people to get out there and check out our other spaces. And
so going from architecture to being a restaurateur, what is that transition been like for you?
I mean, it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
It's worked out. Hey.
Yes.
No, I mean, I think a lot of people are surprised by that because you think of architecture in a restaurant, you're like, wow, it's just so different. But they actually really aren't when you look down at the basics of them. You know, as an architect, you're problem solving. Well, as a restaurant owner, you're problem solving. You're anticipating what people want. You're, trying to anticipate problems before they're problems. You're using all those same skill sets for both those careers. So it's been a pretty easy transition, I would say, just because I'm using all the stuff that I already was using and went to school for, just using them in a different way.
And a great way to save costs, you can do all of the design in-house, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you have multiple establishments. How do you manage it all?
It's definitely a balancing act, but it might sound a little bit crazy, but when you have one restaurant, it's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
The more restaurants you have, it allows you to kind of hire the right people and take on different, bigger aspects of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So it allows you to really kind of like hire people that you wouldn't be able to have just with one restaurant. You have more flexibility to offer, bigger jobs that do the payroll, which I used to do, or all those things. The bigger you grow, the more people you can hire to help take some of those.
So it builds almost a blueprint for you.
Sure.
How to start it from the ground up.
Yeah.
Anything that you would mention to anyone else that's looking to start a restaurant? The restaurant business is it's tough to navigate, and for some restaurateurs, the margins can be very, very tight.
Oh, it's always very tight, yeah.
Right?
Even those successful restaurants, I guarantee their margins are very tight. So.
Yes. Yeah. So what advice would you give to someone that's looking to open a restaurant?
So my business partner, John Alvarez, if anyone ever says anything wrong, he always says, don't do it, don't do it.
Yeah, okay.
But, I mean, I'll kind of expand on that in that I think a lot of people think that running a restaurant isn't difficult because everyone cooks. Everyone can cook, so you're like, well, I can cook. I can do a restaurant, and that's true to an extent. But you have to really, 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 really love it because it is your life. So
the hours itself.
Yeah, you're always in it. And like I said before, you don't know what's going to just randomly pop up and need your attention. You can jump and do something and. Yeah, so.
And I've also heard turnover of staff can be a challenge as well in the restaurant industry.
The restaurant industry is known for having very large staff turnover. Ourselves, we don't see that quite as much. I think that has to do with, we do have people do want to work for us, and that's awesome, that's amazing. And it's kind of one of the biggest rewarding things for me as a restaurant owner is when we'll have a staff member, they've worked for us for a few years, they decide they want to move on and do other things, but then after a few years later they come back and they say, I want to work for you again, I want to work with you. It was we went out there, we tried these things, but ultimately I want to work here. So it's very rewarding to have someone come back and say that, and I think that is a testament to how you kind of treat people and keep things current. And
do you find it difficult finding the talent?
it can be. We've always been able to find staff when we've needed staff. It's never been a situation of having to close or that, because there's right now I know there's restaurants in Detroit that are having to close or not be open for dine-in service just because they don't have the staff, and luckily we've never been in that situation.
Mm-hmm. No, it's if you build that culture and you can retain the good quality staff that you have, you never run into those issues. They're telling their friends, hey, this is a great place to work, right?
Yep.
What are some exciting things that you have in store that you can share? I know know yourself and Matt are always working on something. Is there anything that you're looking forward to? Any of your locations, or just some things that you could share?
Unfortunately, no. Not that I'm trying to keep secrets or anything like that,
no,
but
sure.
we've always been we've grown organically. If an opportunity comes up, like I was talking about Funky Chow, like the space became available, we're like, what should we do here? We're like, let's do Asian. So we kind of went and did that. So we don't necessarily make big plans. We just kind of see like, oh, this opportunity presented itself. What can we do with this? And kind of always have our eyes open for that kind of stuff too.
Is there any type of cuisine that you're not interested in developing in the future? Like we have Mexican, Asian. Is there any type that you would go towards? I
would say we're always keeping our eyes open of what is kind of not in the area. We're not looking to, we're in Walkerville, so there's a lot of restaurants in Walkerville, but I don't think that we're in direct competition with, everyone kind of balances and complements each other. No one is kind of like, we serve this food, we also serve this food. Like we're not looking to put a restaurant in directly next door, like Italian restaurant. We're not looking to do that. So always keeping my mind open for different kinds of cuisines, but more so just not looking to, put the same type of restaurant next to that same type of restaurant.
Yeah, you must be very strategic with the locations you pick and the type of establishment you're opening, right? Is there a science behind it, or is it just you're waiting for the right opportunity to come up? And
it's more of waiting for the right opportunity. There have been offers for, people have asked us to open restaurants, other locations, and it just didn't seem like the right fit. So we've, turned those things down. But I mean, just kind of keeping our eyes open and seeing.
No, it's that's one thing I'm always curious about is how a business owner comes to the conclusion of, hey, okay, I want to open up something here, and this is exactly what I'm thinking of doing. Like, do you take a lot of urban planning and how your business impacts the overall area? Is that a lot of the decision?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, going along the same lines of, wanting to put in a business that complements the other businesses around it to make, yes, we have 4 restaurants here that are all different in a very short, area, but also in that same area, it's everyone just kind of, it's a niche that was needed to be filled there, what we thought, and it has been, so it's worked out. But just kind of paying attention to what's around you and not just doing it for ourselves, but for the community itself, like making a really fun place for people that live in Walkerville, people that come to Walkerville to kind of get to bounce around. They can go to other places and be different, but they can also go down the street and find something even more different. So
yes. No,
it's all about experience.
Absolutely. Now going back to your architecture piece, tell us about that that maybe people don't know about.
Yeah, so I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted to be an architect. Went to school at Lawrence Tech, and then graduated, got a job in architecture, was doing that for about 15 years. And I wouldn't say I lost my passion for it, but I got this, really amazing passion for cooking and decided to kind of explore that. Myself being married to an architect.
You're surrounded by it all the time, yeah.
Yeah, but it really made me see, I could see how much passion he had about architecture, and I didn't feel necessarily the same way anymore. Mm-hmm. So, I was in a position that I could leave architecture and get into something new, and it's worked out.
What about architecture do not many people not know about that industry? Like, is it long hours? Is it tough on the brain? Like, for you, I guess, where did you lose that passion?
I don't think it was anything to do with the job itself. Mm-hmm. I just really got into like the cooking and
started to obsess over something else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, because I think architecture is the same way. You hear about when people are in architecture school, all the all-nighters they do to get their projects done and that kind of thing. So it is again, it's an obsessive career, I would say. Same with food, I think it's an obsessive career. So I'm just kind of going from one to another type of thing.
Was there somebody that or currently that you look up to in the food and beverage industry?
Yeah. I'm really excited because there's a big food show in Toronto every year, and he's a keynote speaker at it this year. But Jose Andres, he does so much good. I see, like if there's a natural disaster, he'll show up and cook for a bunch of people, and kind of just is out there. And for myself, I can't see how you could possibly step away from your own restaurants and be able to do these things.
Yes.
And just the money and like all those things behind it too. But so it's pretty amazing to see someone that's able to do that, and it's definitely something, I don't know if I'll ever get there, but something I would aspire to try to do a little bit more of. And I, like, consciously just trying to think of ways that even though I'm not in a position that I can just donate a bunch of money and put on this big thing or, whatever, there are small things. Like I just did, the city of Windsor has after school programs throughout the city. And so I just went this last month, and every Wednesday or Thursday I went to a different one of them and did a little career to speak to the students, and we made one of our recipes here. So I'm actively, I guess, looking for small things that I feel like I can do, and it's important to have an impact, but not get overwhelmed with that's such a big feat to overcome and be able to do it. So trying to think about the smaller things. So that's kind of right now I'd say one of my goals is to kind of
give back, share that expertise with others.
Yeah.
That's excellent. I have to ask, because you're very passionate about F&B, is there, and I imagine you've traveled a ton.
Yes.
Is there a favorite spot that you've been outside of Windsor for a restaurant that you really, really enjoy? Probably a bunch, but
it's kind of like when someone asks you what's your favorite thing in a club, you can't pick your favorite child type of thing.
True.
So I'd say that's along the same lines of that, but I've been fortunate enough to go to Japan a couple times. I have another trip coming up next month, but definitely there. I mean,
I imagine you probably brought some back, some of the the dishes back to,
or our own version of it. Yeah, absolutely. But it's really interesting for me to go to Japan and see. Yes, of course, the sushi is amazing. Yes, the wagyu is amazing. But even to see how Japanese cook French food. There's a French bistro that we went to a few times on our last trip there because it was so good. It's just it's really unique to kind of see that how people interpret, but then make it better.
yeah. It's not just in case it's a business trip. You're doing market research and you're bringing it back here. And
you can tell the government I can write that off on my taxes.
Yes, that's awesome. Now, final question: anything you could share, how people can support you in F&B Hospitality Group and your business that may have never been to any of your establishments?
I mean, I'd say definitely come check us out. Tell your friends. We're really all about creating experiences. Mm-hmm. That's why all of our places are so different. Yes, you can be someone that kind of comes to all of our places, or you might just find that Tulip Cafe is your spot to kind of go and have your own experience. Our most recent venture we just opened, I Know the Owner Tiki.
Yes.
That's big on experiential, high impact, I would say. So it's.
And where's that located?
So that is located within Funky Chow Kitchen. If you show up at Funky Chow Kitchen, you have to tell them I know the owner, and they escort you.
Oh, it's like a speakeasy?
A little bit. We're not using those words exactly, but I mean that's what people have said, and it's a little hidden.
You have to say I know the owner?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I feel like there's a lot of people when they go into a restaurant or anywhere, I know the owner, and they think that, I've seen videos online.
Yeah.
I know the owner, so everyone should bow down and.
That's our little cheeky
I
nod
love
to that.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I'll have to check out the Tiki, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Well, be sure to support Rosemary Woods and F&B Hospitality Group. some fantastic food and cafe nearby in beautiful Walkerville. Hope you check it out. And if they have any questions, can they reach out to you online?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, all
Awesome.
of our restaurants have Instagram and Facebook pages. Shoot a message over.
Excellent.
I'm the one that reads them all, so I'll see.
Okay. Only positive things and